New Radio Sports Network, and it's time for another season of the show with head coach Pat Mikesch, who busy day as we're approaching the second weekend of the regular season, first home weekend for the Green Bay Gamblers, as they will be at home after. Pat, you said that you've already had a couple of games underway, and tell us a little bit about how that opening weekend went.
Well, it was great to get back and have our league showcase in Pittsburgh like we had done in the past. Last year, we weren't able to make that trip with the restrictions, and it just didn't make sense to bring all the teams to one city and be so close. So it was great to be back out there. It's the kickoff to our league. The number of NHL scouts that are there to get their eyes on the players for the first time, and college scouts who weren't allowed to be in buildings a year ago, they were back. So it was kind of great to see everybody again and talk to people and one, to see my own team, but to kind of see the rest of the league and see where they stack up as well.
And what are we looking at for protocols this year? Obviously, I know last year there was some weekends that got pretty interesting because you'd be on the way for a game and all of a sudden you realize that there was a positive test. Other weekends, there was times where you kind of had to say, hey, this is what's going on here. What are some of the protocols that you have to deal with this season?
Well, it's similar in fact that, I mean, if you have cases, I mean, you're going to have to do all your contact tracing and everything that goes along with it. Obviously, our vaccination rate with our team makes things a lot easier to know that we're going to be able to put a team out there. But everybody needs to be aware of, being responsible, taking care of yourself. And if you're not feeling well, don't come to the rink. And so it's similar to last year, but the vaccination rate makes it a lot easier to sit there and say, hey, we're going to be having games on a regular basis.
And in addition to that opening weekend in Pittsburgh, you've had some exhibition contests. You even had fans at the Resch Center about a month ago at this point. What's been maybe some of the things that you've gotten to learn about your team, as you've obviously have had a lot of moving parts?
Well, I mean, I like the group a lot. Our defensive core has a great deal of experience in this league already, which is key. I mean, we know we're built around our second-year players, and so in having Aaron Randazzo back in net with as much experience as he has, gives you that returning goalie, which brings huge value as well. And then it's our forward group that we have a lot of familiar faces, but the Jackson Hallam, who played well for us when he was here last year, still played high school hockey and only played 15 games for us last year. Brody Lamb played 10 games, and but they're both NHL draft picks, and so, but it's going to take them time to adjust to our league and to be able to play in all the situations that they want to. But having Ryan Green back, having Al Cerveno back, and John Middlestad, Sawyer Scholl, Matt DeBoer, we've got a nice group back with that forward group. But some of the real talented, the high end kids are going to need to get that experience. And so I think preseason's helped with that, and we'll grow as a team. But I look forward to seeing how those forwards adjust.
Kind of almost the reverse of last year, isn't it? Last year you had a lot of strength with your forwards and with your offensive output, kind of leaning on the defense to see if that experience got up. Now it sounds like it's been a complete 180.
Yeah, I mean, it is different. The nice thing is I think we're still going to be a very offensive team. So it's not trying to win with our defense and trying to win the 2-1 games and the 3-2s. I still think we're going to be up there in the top echelon of the league as far as goals scored. But I just think we have huge potential because of the youth of some of our skill.
And when you take a look at that team, obviously you mentioned a lot of new faces. Who are some of the people that we don't know now, but come April, when we get towards the end of the season, we're definitely going to know who they are?
Well, Ethan Strachey he was our first round pick in that phase 2, but he's already played 2 years in this league with the United States Development Program. So the experience that he brings as a new player to Green Bay is great. Cam Lund, who was a high pick for us a couple years ago in the phase 1, the young players draft, he's a very talented forward, and he's going to get a chance to play in a lot of situations. And so we expect Cam to develop very nicely here, but he's one of those new faces that is going to adjust to the league, but, obviously we have high expectations for him.
Now we kind of jump right into the season a little bit here. What did you do during the off season to kind of prepare for this year? Obviously, I know seemed like your schedule's a lot of scouting and things like that, but what does a Pat Mikesch do during the off season?
Well, we had our draft there at the end of May, and then prepared for camp in June, and we had a great showing for camp here. We did not have our Canadian kids come across the border just because the issues that they were going to have trying to return at that point. But everybody else was here. It was a great camp, very competitive. Broke the roster down to the 29 guys that we were going to bring back in the fall, and that's the group we started camp with. But once I got through our camp, I did a little bit with USA Hockey and their festivals out in Buffalo, New York, and then the rest of my summer was trying to, relax, enjoy ourselves, and make sure we were prepared for the start of the season with any kind of system things we wanted to do and that. But it was a lot of good downtime the second half of July and August.
What was that fun time like? You got to go out golfing, go swimming, go fishing. What was that time kind of filled with?
I get my rounds of golf in, probably not as many this summer as some, but and we spent a lot of time up north in my home area, northern Michigan. It was great. I still have a lot of family back there, so it's a 3.5-hour trip. We're able to spend a lot of long weekends up there and enjoy the water.
Now, one of the big traditions that will return this Saturday, the first of two this year, that we'll be able to experience the teddy bear toss to kind of kick things off for this regular season. And obviously last year, certainly a little bit more muted with some of the capacity limits and, the concerns about, throwing bears that were touched by other people. How excited are you for maybe a taste of what a normal teddy bear toss should look like this Saturday?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Have it for the first game of your year. When Jeff Mitchell told me that was the plan, I was like, well, I'm excited because I think it's going to get people out. They're going to be excited to come see us play. And, we already put enough pressure on the players on who's going to score that first home goal of the year. And now you're bringing down teddy bears when you do it. So I think fans will be on the end of their seat waiting for that opportunity to, celebrate with the players. But, first game jitters always bring that little extra energy to a home opener. And so this makes it even more.
What have you told the players about that experience?
We haven't even talked about it yet. We had a great practice yesterday. The guys all know it's teddy bear toss. And so we'll talk about it maybe a little later in the week, just about, the best way to score an early one is to be the first one shooting a puck. So we'll try to generate some shots to the net as early in the game as we can. But I promise you the guys, they all want it. And they're all thinking through how they're going to celebrate with the Bears. But ultimately, we just want to make sure we're ready to start that game. Like I said, there's enough nervous energy already that shows up with a first game at home. And so hopefully we just get off to a good start and doing things the right way.
You faced Dubuque in that home opener. They came to Green Bay for that exhibition contest at the Resch Center. I believe you went there the next day. What do we know about Dubuque going into this opening game?
I really like their team. They brought in a Swedish goalie that's an NHL draft pick, and we got to see him here in our building. And big and athletic. Like it just seems like all these goalies are becoming now, and they're probably going to be one of the best defensive teams in the league. So watching them last weekend, they don't give up a lot of chances. They kind of live off of your mistakes, and so we're going to have to be responsible. But I think we could dictate things if we get off to a good forechecking game and make them, go back to pucks early and try to be hard on their defensemen. And, that's kind of a trend that we established well against their group last year. And looking at the team makeup that they have this year, I think it's going to be a lot of the same, as making sure we're dictating things with our pressure and our pace.
And you mentioned when you went out to Pittsburgh, you had a chance to see everybody. Any other teams really stick out to you as being a special group?
I thought Tri-City and Sioux City, both on the west side, look strong. We won't see those teams until a possible Clark Cup matchup. I got to watch the U18 team play a game and a half, and they look very strong. And Chicago has a talented group again. So, the league is so hard to predict. It's about staying healthy and taking home advantage of home ice when you have the opportunity to. But right now we're focused on our group, and I like that group and how we've come together. Come together.
Well, hockey resumes on New Radio Sports Network. That will be 7:00 on Saturday. You'll be able to listen to the game on 104.1 WRLU as the Green Bay Gamblers return to the Resch Center rink to play the Dubuque Fighting Saints. Coach, we know you have a busy day talking and meeting with people as you get ready for your home opener. We thank you so much for the time.
All right. I appreciate it, Tim. It's always fun.
For the New Radio Sports Network, I'm Tim Coles.